David spent $400 on supplements for his father, and it may have done more harm than good. He'd fallen down the longevity rabbit hole, the podcasts, the influencers, the biohackers promising to slow aging and add decades to life. It all sounded revolutionary, backed by science, urgent. So he did what a loving son does. He bought his 77-year-old father the whole stack, a dozen bottles. Anti-aging compounds, exotic antioxidants, hormone precursors, things he couldn't pronounce. He was trying to help. What David didn't know was that some of those supplements interacted with his father's blood pressure and heart medications, that several had no meaningful evidence behind them for anyone, let alone a 77-year-old, that the money would have done far more good spent on almost anything else, and that the actual proven habits that would genuinely extend and improve his father's life, the ones with mountains of evidence behind them, were free, unglamorous, and completely absent from the flashy world he'd been absorbing. I'm telling you David's story today because the longevity and biohacking space has exploded, and families are being swept into it with the best intentions, and almost no way to tell what's real. There's genuine science in that world. There's also an enormous amount of hype, marketing, and advice designed for wealthy 35-year-olds optimizing their performance, which is a completely different thing from helping a 77-year-old stay strong, sharp, and independent. Today, I'm going to cut through the noise. I'm going to tell you which longevity habits actually matter for an aging parent, the ones with overwhelming evidence, and which ones are hype, distraction, or a waste of money. And I'll be honest with you throughout, because that honesty is exactly what's missing from most of what you're hearing. Because here is the truth at the center of this video. The things that genuinely extend and improve an older parent's life are not exotic, not expensive, and not secret. They're just not being sold to you because no one profits from them. Before we go further, if you've ever wondered whether the longevity trends are worth it for your parent, this video will save you money and confusion. Share it with the family members who help care for your parent. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, do it now. Every week one publish content exactly like this. Clinical, honest, and built for families navigating the care of an aging parent. Subscribe so you don't miss what's coming. Let me start with the most important reframe of this entire video, because everything depends on it. Most of the biohacking and longevity content you encounter is built around a specific goal, helping relatively young, healthy, often wealthy people optimize performance and, in theory, extend maximum lifespan. That's a legitimate interest, but it is not your parent's situation. For a 75 or 80-year-old, the goal is completely different. It's not squeezing out theoretical extra decades. It's what geriatricians call healthspan, the years lived with strength, clarity, and independence. It's staying out of the hospital, staying on your feet, staying yourself. And when you shift the goal from maximize lifespan to protect the quality and independence of the years my parent has, the entire picture of what matters changes. The exotic interventions fade in importance, and a small number of profoundly powerful, boring, well-proven habits move to the center. Those are what I'm going to give you. So let me tell you what actually matters, the habits with overwhelming evidence, roughly in order of impact. Number 1, and it isn't close, physical activity, especially strength training. If there were a single pill that did what exercise does for an older adult, it would be the most celebrated drug in history. Movement, and specifically resistance training to preserve muscle, reduces the risk of falls, frailty, heart disease, diabetes, cognitive decline, depression, and death from nearly every cause. It preserves the muscle that independence depends on. Nothing in the entire longevity world comes close to the proven impact of keeping an older body strong and moving. If your parent does one thing, it's this. It's free, and it works better than anything that can be sold. Number 2, social connection. This surprises people because it doesn't sound medical, but the evidence is staggering. Strong social relationships are associated with longer life and better cognitive and emotional health, and chronic isolation carries a mortality risk comparable to smoking. For an aging parent, staying connected to family, friends, community, purpose is not a soft nicety. It is one of the most powerful longevity interventions that exists, and it costs nothing. Number 3, sleep. Quality sleep is when the aging brain clears waste, consolidates memory, and repairs the body. Chronic poor sleep accelerates cognitive decline and worsens nearly every health condition. Protecting your parents' sleep, the environment, the routine, treating disorders like sleep apnea, does more for their brain than any supplement marketed for brain health. Number 4, nutrition, with a focus on adequate protein and a whole food, mostly plant-rich pattern. Not an exotic diet. Not extreme fasting protocols, which can be genuinely risky for older adults and often cause muscle loss they can't afford. Just enough protein to maintain muscle, enough overall food to avoid the malnutrition that's shockingly common in older adults, and a generally balanced pattern. The fancy diets get the attention. Adequate protein and simply eating enough get the results. Number 5, managing the medical fundamentals. Controlling blood pressure. Managing blood sugar and cholesterol, taking prescribed medications correctly, attending checkups, getting recommended vaccinations. This is deeply unglamorous, and it is among the highest impact longevity work there is. Well-controlled blood pressure alone prevents an enormous number of strokes and heart attacks. No biohack on earth outperforms simply managing the basics well. Those 5, movement, connection, sleep, nutrition, and the medical fundamentals, are the real longevity stack for an aging parent. They are overwhelmingly supported by evidence, and every one of them is free or nearly free. That's the part the noise obscures. If you're finding this valuable, and I hope you are, take 1 second right now and hit the like button. It genuinely helps this content reach other families before they spend money on things that don't work. Like and keep watching. Now let me do the part almost no one will do honestly. Tell you what's overhyped, unproven, or potentially harmful for your parent. Let's start with supplements, because this is where families waste the most money and take the most risk. The vast majority of anti-aging supplements have little to no strong evidence of benefit in humans, especially in older adults who are rarely even studied. The supplement industry is enormous, largely unregulated, and built on marketing, not proof. Most of what's in that longevity stack David bought has never been shown to do what it promises. And in older adults, supplements aren't just a waste, they can be dangerous. They interact with medications exactly as they did with David's father's heart drugs. They can stress the kidneys and liver, which process everything and are often already less efficient with age. More is not better, and natural does not mean safe. Before your parent takes any supplement, it should be reviewed by their doctor or pharmacist against everything else they're taking. There are a few genuinely useful ones. Vitamin D when someone is deficient, B12 when absorption is poor, sometimes others for specific documented deficiencies. But those are targeted corrections of real problems, identified by testing, not a shotgun stack of hopeful compounds. Next, extreme fasting and restrictive diets. Intermittent fasting and calorie restriction get enormous attention in longevity circles. But for older adults, aggressive fasting can be actively harmful. It often accelerates muscle loss, which is the last thing an aging body can afford, and it risks the undernutrition that's already a major threat in this population. What might benefit a healthy 40-year-old can hurt a frail 78-year-old. This is a perfect example of advice built for the wrong avatar. Next, expensive testing, gadgets, and treatments. The longevity world is full of costly biological age tests, full body scans, wearables, cold plunges, hyperbaric chambers, 4 drips, and more. Some are harmless novelties. Some are expensive with no proven benefit for an older adult's actual health span, and a few carry real risk. The money spent on a biological age test would almost always do more good funding a few sessions with a physical therapist. Glamour is not evidence. And finally, a general principle to protect your family: be deeply skeptical of anything promising to reverse aging, anything sold with urgency and fear, anything where the person making the claim is also selling the product, and anything that sounds too good to be true. Real longevity science is measured, cautious, and rarely exciting. The louder and more certain the promise, the more skeptical you should be. This is the moment where I want to ask you something directly. If this video is helping you separate what's real from what's hype, share it with the family members who might be tempted to spend money on the wrong things or who are confused by all the noise, exactly as David was. Honest information like this spreads through families, not advertisements. Share it. Leave a comment below telling me what longevity trends you've wondered about, and subscribe if you haven't yet. Let me address one more thing, because it's where a lot of family conflict and wasted effort comes from: the emotional pull of the longevity world. The reason David bought those supplements wasn't stupidity. It was love and a very human wish for control. When we watch a parent age, we feel powerless, and the longevity industry sells exactly what we crave. The feeling that if we just buy the right thing, we can stop or reverse what's happening. That feeling is powerful, and marketers know it. Understanding that pull helps you resist it, and redirect that same love toward the things that actually work. And there's real freedom in this if you let it land. The things that matter most are the things you can actually do. You can't buy your parent a reversal of aging, but you can walk with them. You can make sure they're eating enough protein. You can help them stay connected, protect their sleep, get their blood pressure controlled, and keep them moving. Those aren't consolation prizes. They are, by the evidence, the most powerful longevity interventions that exist, and they're available to every family, regardless of budget. Here's what your family can do. Today, shift the frame. The goal for your parent isn't maximum lifespan or reversing aging. It's protecting the strength, clarity, and independence of the years they have. Judge every longevity claim against that standard. This week, audit the supplements. Gather everything your parent takes, every supplement, vitamin, and longevity product, and have the doctor or pharmacist review it against their medications for interactions and actual usefulness. Stop what's pointless or risky. Also this week, pick one of the 5 that matter: movement, connection, sleep, nutrition, or the medical fundamentals, and take one concrete step: a daily walk, a standing weekly call with a friend, a blood pressure check. Ongoing, invest your energy and money in the proven, unglamorous basics, and stay skeptical of anything sold with urgency, fear, or a miracle promise. The real longevity work is quiet, consistent, and free. Here's what I want you to carry with you from today. David eventually had his father's supplement stack reviewed, and most of it was quietly thrown away, including the 2 products interacting with his heart medication. What replaced it wasn't another product. It was a walk after dinner most evenings, a renewed push to get enough protein, a standing Sunday visit, and tighter control of his blood pressure with his existing doctor. None of it was exciting. None of it was sold by anyone. And it did more for his father's health than $400 of bottles ever could. That's the quiet truth the noise is designed to drown out. The most powerful things you can do for a parent's longevity are not for sale. They don't come in a bottle or a subscription or a device. They come from attention, consistency, and love directed at the boring, proven fundamentals. You don't need to buy your parent more years. You need to help them live the years they have with strength, connection, and clarity. And that, unlike almost everything the longevity industry is selling, is genuinely within your power. If this video gave you something real, something that saved you money, or changed how you think, or that you'll share with someone caught in the hype, please take a moment to like it. Share it with the people who share your parents' care, because honest information protects families. And leave a comment below telling me what you're navigating, what's worked for your family, or what you wish you'd known sooner. I read every single one. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please subscribe. This is where I publish honest, clinical, practical guidance for families trying to do right by the people they love every single week. Thank you for being here and for caring enough to watch all the way to the end. That attention is exactly what makes the difference. I'll see you soon.